Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. I am genuinely so glad you're taking the time to be here with us today. Let's just start by taking a deep, settling breath together, okay? Today, we're exploring the architecture of hypervigilance and really looking at how to soften your emotional firewall. We're going to explore the very real, often overwhelming ways your mind works to protect you. My goal here is just to walk alongside you, applying a bit of psychological logic to those heavy, everyday feelings, and really help you understand why your mind built these defenses in the first place.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever walked into a room and literally, without even thinking about it, instantly mapped out every single exit? Or maybe you've immediately clocked the exact subtle mood of someone standing by the door, or found yourself obsessively analyzing why a friend's hello sounded just a tiny, tiny bit off. I want to validate right now how absolutely exhausting that experience is. You're constantly reading the room, analyzing every micro-expression, and carrying this massive weight of being the emotional barometer for literally everyone around you.
It's honestly like having a superpower you never even asked for, right? It's a radar that is always, and I mean absolutely always, scanning for a storm that hasn't even arrived yet. Just imagine your brain as this high-tech security system. It stays on high alert, alarms are primed, even when you're literally just sitting down trying to enjoy a quiet cup of coffee. It's draining to feel like you can never truly clock out of survival mode.
Okay, let's jump right into section 1. Forged in the fires, and why you aren't broken or too sensitive.
You know, I know society throws around labels like too sensitive or broken all the time. But let's get one thing straight. Your heightened sensitivity is a completely valid, highly logical survival response to the environment you had to navigate. Hypervigilance is a unique operating system. It was actually forged in the fires of an unstable past where danger, whether that was emotional or physical, was a very real possibility for you. If you grew up in an environment where you literally needed to accurately predict a parent's unpredictable mood just to stay safe, well, your brain learned an incredibly powerful yet exhausting lesson. It learned that predicting the environment is the absolute only way to stay protected.
To put a sort of visual to it, think of the character Tanjiro from the show Demon Slayer. He literally has the ability to smell emotions. And honestly, it's a perfect metaphor for this real-world radar you've developed. You can walk into a space and instantly sense the emotional frequency of the entire room. It is a brilliant, incredible adaptation that kept you safe. But we also have to acknowledge that it acts as an incredibly heavy suit of armor to wear every single day of your life.
Which brings us to section 2, the invisible armor, when trust feels like a calculated risk.
Let's look at how this architecture actually manifests in your daily life, protecting a heart that has been forged in incredible resilience. When you live in this state, simple things, like just trusting someone else, stop being natural and start feeling like a highly calculated risk. A single pervasive question kind of dictates everything. What do they really want? Think about that pang of suspicion or even outright panic that pops up when someone treats you with genuine, unprovoked kindness. If you have an inner firewall built on trauma, your brain immediately flags that kindness as a threat. It asks, okay, what's the catch? How is this going to be used against me later? Your brain really struggles to accept kindness because, well, it's so used to bracing for impact.
And this armor takes a massive, massive mental toll behind the scenes. You might find yourself replaying totally routine conversations for hours or sometimes even years after they happen. You mentally edit and obsess over your words, trying to retroactively protect yourself from the perceived danger of social embarrassment or rejection. You are actively exhausting your own energy reserves, trying to pre-solve problems that don't actually exist in the present moment.
I always like to frame it this way, just to add a little bit of grace and gentle humor to what you're going through. Having a hypervigilance is kind of like having an overprotective security guard living in your head. He means well, he really wants to keep you safe, but he's just so on edge that he accidentally tackles the mailman. Your brain is essentially giving you false alarms. It's reacting to a friendly delivery as if it were a massive threat, simply because it doesn't want you to ever be caught off guard again.
Let's move to section 3, building an emotional firewall, softening the architecture without tearing it down.
Our goal here isn't to tell you that you're wrong for having defenses. Absolutely not. It's to help move you from a rigid state of survival into a flexible state of growth. Think of the difference between a wall and a firewall. A wall keeps absolutely everything out, but the tragedy there is that it leaves you completely isolated. And you don't have to go full scorched earth and cut everyone off just to be safe. A firewall, however, well, that allows you to control the volume dial of other people's influence on your life. It puts the agency back in your hands, letting you consciously decide what and who actually gets in.
Now for section 4, grounding your deep mind, getting out of your head and back into your body.
So hypervigilance lives in the analytical mind, right? It keeps you trapped in this endless mental spiral. To soften your firewall, we need some really practical tools to stop that spiral in its tracks. When you feel that mental storm starting to brew, I want you to try these physical grounding techniques. First, try physically holding an ice cube. Just notice its sharp, biting cold against your skin. Or wrap your hands around a hot mug of tea and focus entirely on that radiating warmth. These aren't just silly little tricks. They are actual neurological pattern interrupts. They actively pull you out of that terrifying storm in your head and anchor you firmly back in the safety of the present physical world.
I also want you to practice what we call the radical act of being good enough. I know, it sounds totally counterintuitive, but I want you to intentionally do something imperfectly today. Leave a dish in the sink tonight. Don't immediately respond to a non-urgent text. By doing this, you are actively teaching your nervous system a brand new reality. You do not have to be absolutely perfect to be safe, and you don't have to be flawless to be worthy of love and belonging. So, the crucial point I want you to take away is this. Your deep analytical mind is not a curse. Actually, scratch that. When it isn't hijacked by a trauma response, it is a profound gift. It gives you a level of empathy, intuition, and deep insight that most other people completely miss. You literally see the world in high definition. We just want to help you turn the alarm bells off so you can actually enjoy the view.
I really want you to take this quote straight to heart. You are not a problem to be solved. You are a person to be experienced. Healing from hypervigilance isn't about thinking less or fixing some broken part of you. It's really about learning to think about yourself with so much more kindness. And hey, if you want to dive deeper into your own patterns and continue this journey, I highly encourage you to explore the free community worksheets and resources available at Psych2Go's shop. Remember, you really aren't alone in this.
We'll end this explainer with a question for you to carry into the rest of your day. How will you think with more kindness today? Just notice the inner critic, notice that overprotective security guard, and see if you can offer them just a little bit of grace. Thank you so much for being here, for doing this hard work, and as you step back out into the world today, please take care of yourself.